Back to our top story, the deadly attack at a Moscow concert hall Friday, more than 130 people killed, many more injured. Vladimir Putin declaring today a day of mourning for the Russian people as ISIS-K claims responsibility. That deadly attack coming just weeks after a warning from U.S. intelligence. Joining me now, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Shannon, good to be with you. Happy Palm Sunday.
And to you as well. I want to start with something that Senator Cotton referenced. This is some testimony from General Michael Kurilla, who's the head of U.S. Central Command, just days ago.
The risk of attack emanating from Afghanistan is increasing. I assess ISIS Khorasan retains the capability and will to attack U.S. and Western interests abroad in as little as 6 months and with little to no warning.
Do you agree with Senator Cotton that our porous southern border, where, again, we've already found 70 people on a terror watch list just this year alone, potentially opens us up to this kind of real danger on U.S. soil?
Well, Shannon, first, my heart goes out to the families in Russia that were affected by this. The U.S. did warn Russia, and Vladimir Putin gave a speech on Tuesday discounting the warning, saying we were trying to meddle and create confusion. We also warned Iran a couple months ago about a potential attack by ISIS-K there. If you want to know the difference between democracies and authoritarians, we will tell nations if we're worried about their civilians. Russia or Iran would never tell us if they had news that there was going to be a terrorist attack in the United States. With respect to the southern border is a challenge. That's why, you know, since I came to the Senate, I've been part of bipartisan efforts to fix it again and again and again. But each time, whether it was bipartisan immigration reform in 2013, a bipartisan deal in 2018, or the deal we put together just last month in February, bipartisan to invest at the border, each time the Republicans torch it, Donald Trump even making plain the last thing they want to do is fix the border. They just want to, you know, raise a ruckus about the border. We need to get serious about fixes.
So Senator Cotton said that this administration openly repealed dozens of executive orders that had changed the numbers at the border. You saw the video. We've all seen it this week of what happened there when there were people who burst through the wire, that they got to the Texas National Guard taking them on there. The Federalist writing about it says this: the video is shocking. It underscores not only how unstable the border has become, but also what has been true for a while now. This is an invasion. Unless Mexico is credibly threatened with concrete measures that would harm its economy, AMLO will not act to alleviate the illegal immigration crisis. Would you consider this an invasion? And is there more we could be doing with respect to pressuring Mexico?
I don't think it's an invasion. It is an immigration crisis. It's a national security issue, but I think you got to be careful throwing around words like invasion. It was that kind of wording that led the deranged guy to go shoot up the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh, killing folks a couple years ago. And I think that kind of rhetoric is irresponsible. But it is a crisis. We have to solve it. And we had a wonderful chance in February when conservative Republican Senator James Lankford negotiated with Democrats and the White House and his own caucus to come up with a packet of measures, really significant measures to control the border. And then after we basically had a deal, Donald Trump said, don't vote for this deal. We would rather complain about this for the next 9 months than fix the problem. Donald Trump was willing to let more fentanyl come over the border, killing more Americans to try to gain a political edge rather than find a solution. We've got a good solution on the table. We should act to do it in a bipartisan way.
Should the president, though, use executive orders, executive action that he has available to him to stop fentanyl, to do what he can over the next 9 months, whether he's the next president again or not?
Shannon, I think he can do two things. I do encourage him to use executive actions. I don't think he can do everything that was in our bipartisan bill by executive order, but there's probably a subset of things he can do, and I think his team is considering it. The other thing is the appropriations bill that we passed, that we sent to the White House early Saturday morning, included some significant increases in funding for things like detention beds and additional resources. He should implement those. But again, if we could just get a vote on this bipartisan deal we put together, that's more resources. Actually, the supplemental bill that is pending in the House right now that passed in the Senate has some additional resources. So there's some issues that where Congress needs to act, and yes, where the president can act, I think he should.
Okay, so speaking of votes, you all did this late into Friday, early into Saturday, this last round of funding bills. There were a number of amendments that Republicans wanted to offer up that were connected to the border. Again and again, you, along with all other Democrats, voted against getting to a vote on these amendments. But I want to talk about the substance of a couple of them. The first one was an amendment that would prevent people in the U.S. illegally who assault a law enforcement officer from obtaining legal status or citizenship. Why would you vote against getting to a vote on that?
Shannon, I'll tell you about all of the amendment votes. The House and Senate negotiated a bipartisan deal, and then the House sent it to us just hours before government was going to shut down at midnight. That included defense, and it included DHS and border security. The House then went home. Everyone left. So if we had voted for any of the amendments and they had passed, the bill would have had to go back over to the House. They weren't there. Government would have shut down. If you want to see a border crisis, shut down government and see how bad it is. So what we said to our Republican colleagues is, look, there's a way to take this up. We can take it up as part of an immigration deal, but we're not going to add amendments onto a bill and send it back to the House when they've already left town. You would have shut government down, and that would have caused both a stop in defense funding and border security funding, and that's why most of us voted against all the amendments, because we knew it was essentially going to shut government down and hurt our country.
But isn't that what happens now? Isn't this the way that we get the government funding, is from cliff to cliff to cliff, and why the latest Gallup polling, I think, has Congress at 19% approval?
Yeah, John McCain used to say our approval was down to friends and family, and after talking to his mother, he said, and maybe family can't even be counted in. Doing this up against a deadline is not the right way to do it. As you know, Shannon, we usually get a budget done by year end, calendar year end. This year, the House lacked a speaker for a big chunk of time in the critical period when we normally were doing the budget. So yes, that pushed it into March. We shouldn't do that again next year. And when the House sends us the bill with just hours to spare before the shutdown and leaves town, at that point, you can't adjust it or government does shut down. I'm always against shutdown. I mean, I live in Virginia. A whole lot of people depend upon government services. And then you've got issues like the defense and border protection. If you shut things down, it just gets worse.
Well, there are a lot of folks out there in our recent polling, it's not just us, it's the New York Times and everyone else out there who says when they look at things like the border, they do hold this administration responsible. They think that President Trump is better equipped to handle it than President Biden. There's a lot of polling trouble out there. Washington Examiner says this: non-white voters have deserted the Democrats. In 2020, Biden was 50 points ahead with minorities. Today, his lead has fallen to 12 points. All the surveys tell a similar story. Gallup finds that the Democrats' lead with black and Hispanic voters has shrunk by 20 points since 2021 and seems set to shrink further, for it is overwhelmingly younger minority voters who are deserting the party. Why is the president having so much trouble with numerous constituents? He needed to win last time, and he's going to need to win this time.
We're a closely divided nation, Shannon. I mean, I've seen it again and again and again. I live in a state, Virginia, where elections are often very, very close, and I don't have any illusions about now to November. I'm going to be on the ballot, too. I have no illusions that it's just going to be simple. We're a closely divided nation, but I'm very confident that when we lay out our competing visions for a future, Joe Biden building off unemployment falling, manufacturing jobs going up, people's 401ks going up, the lowest uninsured rate in American history. We compare it with a Donald Trump who is urging January 6 protesters to be pardoned and using phrases like bloodbath, et cetera, to talk about what he hopes to do in a second term.
Again,
I think people are going to realize how high the stakes are.
We talked about that phrase last week, and we think it's important to have it in context, that he was talking about the automobile industry, China, Mexico, imports from there. So he said a lot of things that you could take issue with, and those can certainly be debated. But on that particular one, context, we think is important.
I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I mean, you know, he has a way of saying these things that are super explosive and then kind of walking them half back.
Does it not worry you then that with all of those things,
with all those things
going on, does it not concern you then that he continues to pull ahead of the president if he's such a flawed candidate?
I am concerned about the state of American democracy as we're getting ready to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. But I believe American voters will embrace pro-democracy rather than pro-authoritarian. And that's the stark difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I'm confident in the American electorate. I think we're going to get it right in November.
Well, it is ultimately up to those actual votes being cast. We know you're on the ballot. We'll see you on the campaign trail,
Absolutely.
Senator. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shannon. You bet.
Up next, tomorrow.